welcome back to my Kerbal Space Program series Beyond the Wormhole, where we're exploring new destinations in the Kcalbeloh planet pack mod using stock parts as far as we can go. And today we're going to a lava planet called Anneheg. It's got oceans of lava or magma. I guess, you know, in public school they say what, like magma is below the surface, lava is above the surface. And also, as a result of my public schooling, I know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But this is the Vulcan 1, a giant rocket that we're sending all the way there. We're gonna carry like a Mars-style Perseverance rover or something like that. That's kind of how I've styled it as to like something like a Mars rover that I've seen in real life. But yeah, we're just sending this guy up. It's gonna be kind of a long mission, but it'll be really cool. We just got our first stage separation there. Yeah, I had to like stack a ton of engines on this thing just to get it into orbit. It's really heavy, but I'm actually pretty surprised that it's not too bottom heavy, so that it didn't flip over during the ascent. But yeah, the launch vehicle works okay, so that's good. We're starting to approach that atmospheric height line of 70,000 meters. So now we're just going to start our circularization process, pointing a little bit radial just to widen our orbit a bit. But yeah, this is going to be a cool episode. It's going to be a long one too, and just in the interest of time saving, I'm going to fast forward ahead to my rendezvous with my space station, my asteroid refueling space station around Sarnus, which I say this all the time, it's the Saturn analog of the Kerbal system using the Outer Planets mod. It's like a stock-alike kind of thing. I play with it as if it's just stock, but if you don't have it, it'll put the Wormhole to the Kcalbeloh system around Joule. It's a very similar system, except it's like more Saturn analog, real life. I have an asteroid refueling station around there because that's where the Wormhole will be if you have Outer Planets mod installed. But I have like I said, I have an asteroid refueling station around near the rings. A space station docked to an asteroid, and it's been refining fuel, and we're actually going to be refueling there just to have enough fuel to make it all the way to this lava planet called Anneheg. So, but I've done that kind of rendezvous a couple times already in my series, almost every video actually. So I'm just going to probably fast forward ahead, and if you want to see that process, you can watch one of my other videos, or I might make a tutorial soon. But this is Sarnus Station, the asteroid refueling outpost. And I fast forwarded ahead. This is actually 4 years since the launch. That's how long the voyage takes. But I've got my ship all refueled. And we're just reversing here, leaving the station. And we're going to start our burn all the way out to the Wormhole, which orbits kind of far out by the edge of Sarnus's sphere of influence. And so I'm actually going to be using a slate gravity assist. It's like a large moon of Sarnus, kind of like, what is that one called? Tidal in the Joule system. You can use it to save some fuel doing maneuvers in the Sarnus system, but I'm just using it to boost my orbit all the way up to intersect the Wormhole, which kind of, like I said before, orbits kind of far out relative to Sarnus. So we're just going to do that burn real quick. Alright, looks like we've got that all settled, and when I reach my ascending node, I'm just going to do a quick burn to match my inclination with the Wormhole that I've set as my target. There we are, passing slate, getting a little bit of a boost there from its gravity. Time warping out. And we're going to do that inclination change real quick. And it looks like we have an encounter, just a natural encounter with the wormhole in maybe 2 or 3 orbits. Yep. So we're just going to wait and we'll get an encounter for free. Looks like one more orbit. So now we're just going to kind of adjust our approach to the wormhole. And we're going to go right through the middle of it, and that'll shoot us out on the other side of the Kcalbeloh system. I'm kind of just angling my angle of entry to kind of just give me a pro-grade boost on the other side, if that makes sense. You kind of preserve your velocity even through to the other side of the wormhole, so you can kind of save fuel by not circularizing around the wormhole, but by just going straight through. But you have to be conscious of kind of where your speed is going to go on the other side of it. It's kind of always a little bit of a gamble, but you can usually make use of what you've got. That makes sense. But there we are. We have the wormhole in the distance. We're just getting ready to enter. Just coming out of it into the Sarah system, which is a planetary system that orbits the star Sunorc, which is one of 3 stars that orbit the black hole Kcalbeloh in the Kcalbeloh planet pack. So I'm just focusing in on the Sunorc system, and it looks like it's put me into not too bad of an elliptical orbit around the planet Sarah. And now we're going to start thinking about getting our transfer to the Aralc system. So what we're going to do is we're going to warp maybe a few months ahead into the solar year of Sarah, so that our apoapsis and our periapsis line up in such a way that it makes it advantageous to escape. So that we can use the Oberth effect to just get a little bit more of a efficient boost out of the system. We're gonna do a little exit burn. It'll make it a little bit easier to plan our interstellar burn. The Aralc system is that a little bit more of like a wider, bluer orbital line above Sunorc. But this is the Sunorc system right now. And one cool thing about the mod is on the mod page, or the mod homepage on GitHub or wherever it is, it includes a Delta V map with which, and by the way, I've just set the Aralc system as my target, so it now will show up as that golden line. But like I was saying, the mod homepage it actually has a Delta V map, including the proper transfer angles for interstellar transfers. So from going from the Sunorc system to the Aralc system, I believe that the transfer angle is about 72 degrees or so ahead of the Sunorc system. Looks like I have a little probe kind of flying on a parabola through the whole system. Wonder, it must have been from one of my test flights, but now we're just warping ahead to form that transfer angle between the Aralc system and the Sunorc system, as you can see here. Trying to have that 72 degree, and looks like we got that encounter right there. So yeah, it worked pretty good. When you're doing planetary transfers, just in like the regular Kerbal system, it's usually not too expensive to do a fairly large mid-course correction, but I've found that doing these interstellar burns in the Kcalbeloh planet pack, those mid-course corrections seem to be like really costly, delta V wise. So it's a good thing to know these transfer angles for interstellar Hoffman transfers. So now we're just burning to escape the Sarnus system, put us on a trajectory to intersect the Aralc system in, I think it takes me 34 years to drift all the way out there. These stars kind of orbit, there's 3 stars that orbit the black hole at the center of this system. So they're all relatively close, which makes these interstellar Hoffman transfer maneuvers possible with stock parts. But you do have to do some pretty intensive nuclear or ion staged vehicles. And I have like asparagus stages for my nuclear transfer stage, which I think had about 13,000 meters per second of delta V when I fully refueled on just the nuclear stage. And it looks like we're just about to, we've got our escape velocity, and we're just about to get that encounter. Looks like we've got it. And so I've named this craft Vulcan 1 after the Roman god of fire. Also an interesting little bit of history here that I might tell you while I'm adjusting. I'm doing an inclination change maneuver to line up a little bit better with the Aralc system. But now we're leaving the Sarnus system. You can see it in the distance there. But like I was saying, a little historical fact that kind of lines up with the name of the craft is astronomers back in the day used to think that there was a planet closer to the sun than Mercury, and they called it Vulcan. There's even some textbooks that have it. But the reason they thought this existed is they actually discovered Neptune, which was the first planet to be discovered using mathematical means, like using Newton's laws of motion, or they discovered like discrepancies in the orbit of Uranus, and they did a bunch of math and figured out, oh, well, if there is something pulling on Uranus, like this is where it would be, and then they pointed all their telescopes, and lo and behold, there it is, there's Neptune. So they use this kind of same like mathematical technique. They noticed a discrepancy in Mercury's orbit that didn't perfectly line up with it, and so they inferred that there must be another planet more interior to the orbit of Mercury, so a planet closer to the sun. And so a lot of astronomers were pointing their telescopes to the sun, but it's actually a lot harder to see something closer to the sun because of the relative brightness of the sun. And the discrepancy actually ended up being a result of Einsteinian, or not Einsteinian, but relativistic time dilation due to the proximity to the sun, if you know anything about Einstein's general law of relativity or something like that. But that's kind of interesting. But right now, looks like I'm a little bit behind in narrating, but we're setting up a flyby of the binary system, Aralc A or Aralc A/B. And we're using Aralc B, which is that smaller red star, to do kind of a gravity assist to capture around the Aralc system, which is that red orbital resulting line. And so now we're just trying to, I've actually set Anneheg as my target, which is that gold orbit closer to the white or blue star. And we're just trying to get a captured orbit with an inclination that matches Anneheg as close as possible. So I'm just fiddling around with that right now. Some of you might have seen one of my videos called like Aurora Planet, where I visited the planet Aurora. I'd used a similar maneuver to capture around the Aralc system, but that planet orbits the red dwarf star that's part of the binary system. But today, the lava planet that we're going to orbits the main star of the system, which is this blue giant or white giant star. Yeah, So after these 2 missions, we will kind of have completed the interior planets of the Aralc binary system. But we're just getting ready to execute that maneuver so that we can get all captured and lined up on our way to Anneheg, the lava planet. So I just staged another empty tank of fuel. Alright, looks like my first burn is done, and I've actually set up kind of a second maneuver, kind of an inclination change. You can't get it exactly, but I'm just trying to find a spot that kind of relatively intersects the inclination I'm aiming for, kind of farther away, as you can see, to just kind of get it a little bit better. I just am able to match my inclination just a tiny bit more further away from the star, which will actually be more efficient. But it looks like I'm trying to actually get like an encounter right away. I ended up giving up on this. I just set it up later, but it looks like my inclination's not quite right to get my encounter closer to my periapsis. It looks like I can only encounter it a little bit before, and that'll make circularizing a little bit more inefficient. So I'm just gonna wait to capture around the star, and then I'll set up an encounter with the planet later. But I'm just warping ahead 34 years out to make my entry into the Aralc A binary system. There it is. It looks like the time has read 34 years since we exited the wormhole. Just doing that inclination change burn real quick. Just doing a little quick save real quick. You never know with these kinds of assists. Sometimes there's like a glitch or something. But now we've entered the Aralc B sphere of influence, and we're going to kind of just complete this little arc around here until we exit into a lower elliptical orbit around Aralc A. That's how our assist is working here. Looks like the assist is complete. I'm going to have to do another inclination change just to line up with the planet Anneheg. And it looks like I almost get an encounter straight away. That's crazy. So I just warp around the star. It gets kind of hot. My ship's starting to heat up a little bit. And I'm just starting that burn. So an interesting fact is that they say like at least half of all star systems in the universe or something like that. I might be butchering this fact, but they say that binary star systems or even trinary star systems are very, very common. In fact, the closest star system to our solar system, other than our own, obviously, is the Centauri system, comprised of Alpha Centauri, Proxima Centauri, and then like this other one. I don't remember the third one, but it's actually a 3-star local kind of star cluster. They all orbit a shared barycenter, like a shared center of mass. But I'm just doing a little burn to modify my flyby of Anneheg so that I can just get ready to do a circularization burn once I reach it. I'll be flying by fairly close to the equator on the night side of the planet, so I keep my prograde orbit direction. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be able to see it real soon. There it is. I'm just seeing how much it takes to do my capture burn, but here we are, the planet Anneheg and the Aralc binary system. We have like a little bit of a visual glitch here with like the lava oceans. It goes away, but yeah. We're starting our decelerization burn. I don't know if that's a word. Decelerization. We're decelerating so that we can capture around the planet. And so this planet is tidally locked to Aralc A, and Aralc A is an extremely large and hot star. Blue stars burn a lot hotter and a lot brighter. And because the same side always faces the parent star, kind of like our own moon does to Earth, the tidal forces are focused on the side that faces the star at all times, which is causing this buildup of heat that quite literally melts the surface of the planet along with just the direct heat of the star. It's called tidal heating. That's from the tidal forces, and then I bet just the raw energy and radiation from the star on the surface also contributes to that heat. We got a really cool view here, high above the lava oceans of Anneheg. Just looking for like a little screenshot here for the thumbnail. It's a really good view. So we're just gonna set up another maneuver to circularize in a low orbit around 20 to 30,000 meters above the surface. You can actually see that little plume of dust along that little speck of light beside the red star all the way there in the distance. That's actually Aurora from a previous episode. It has kind of like a comet-like plume of gas that's kind of being blown away from the atmosphere of the planet from the star. That makes it kind of look like a comet. But we're kind of past that. Looks like we've just completed our circularization. And we're going to start figuring out how we're going to detach here and send the rover down to the surface of the planet, and where to do that, because we have to be precise so as to not land in the oceans of lava here. So I'll just do a little quick save real quick. I'll set up a maneuver to pick out a landing spot. I want to since this planet's tidally locked, I want to pick a spot where the sun is like relatively low in the sky so as to minimize kind of like the glare overhead of the star. So I'm not going to be landing anywhere close to where I am currently orbiting. I'm going to pick over to the side, kind of near like where twilight would be or evening would be on the planet. Seems to be a little bit more mountainous in this region. I've picked out this little island here to land on. And you can actually see the black hole Kcalbeloh in the horizon there to the east. This is the island that we're going to be landing on, this little outcrop of this island here among the lava archipelagos. It's probably a really cool name to name these little bodies of land. But we're just going to be touching down here real soon. I just set my physics time warp to slow motion. The better time warp mod, and we've touched down. So now I'm just kind of messing with the landing legs to get a more flat grip on the surface. And now that we're touched down, I'm going to figure out how to deploy my little rover here that I've stacked on the bottom of this landing vehicle. Just detached one of the extra tanks that I've emptied. Yeah, so this is my rover. I've kind of modeled it after like a real-life Mars rover. I think it turned out really good. I actually really like how it looks. And we're going to go on a little bit of a scenic joyride. We're going to try to go up close to one of the shores of these islands and get close to the lava and deploy some science equipment. But yeah, other than that, we're just going to be going on kind of a scenic joyride to see the exotic sights of this lava ocean planet, as it were. So I'll just let you guys sit back and watch this last little segment of my mission, and I'll pop in to make comments every now and then. There's that black hole in the distance there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of just to the left of the galactic Milky Way kind of ring looking thing in the sky. Kind of low on the horizon to the west of where I'm looking. Not the actual west. It's actually in the eastern part of the sky. But I'm just making my way over to one of these bodies of lava to deploy some of my science experiments a little bit closer to the shores. This looks like a good spot to start deploying some of my science equipment down in this little strait. And so I've disabled max temperature in the hyper edit menu just so that my rover doesn't explode if you get too close to the lava. My headcanon is kind of that my components have been reinforced for resistance to heat. But I'm just deploying my science experiments. It looks like most of them were fried from the temperature, but it's more about the journey, you know, than the prize at the end of the road. But I'm really happy with these views. I feel like I picked a great landing spot. And this looks like a really good lookout vista of the lava archipelagos that I'm calling, as I'm calling them. But yeah. Look at that crazy view. I got some fireworks packed for the occasion, just to celebrate this interstellar journey that we've actually completed with just stock parts. Pretty cool. Well, that looks like it's going to be just about it for this mission. But thanks guys for watching, and like and subscribe. Don't forget, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.